Hey everyone, how's it going? It's Eric here, and today we're going to talk about Gooigi's Mansion 3. You might be wondering, Eric, there's some weird words that just came out of that mouth of yours. What's going on there, buddy? And yeah, they were. Gooigi's Mansion. Here's the thing. It's how I firmly believe, in the least gooey way possible, that Gooigi could make or break Luigi's whole game. Career, game, whatever you want to call it. You see, we were introduced to Gooigi when the original game, Luigi's Mansion, came to 3DS, and we're all kind of like, oh, cool, he's a gooey player too. Didn't really make or break the game, it was just there for you to play with. But then this year, when we found out more information about Luigi's Mansion 3, it turns out they're fleshing out the character, still with no flesh. Not only would Gooigi be a optional player too, but he also brings along some abilities of his own this time. And not only abilities, he also brings along a story. You see, our fair-weathered traveller here, Gooigi, turns out he was made by Professor Egad. And before you ask, no, I don't believe it was done in the same way as Xenoblade Chronicles 2, where the little fluffy thing decided to make a love doll. I think this is more, well, this could be his love doll. Is this an awkward time to bring up that Gooigi's edible? No, you see, this one was not done on purpose. In fact, it was an accident by Professor Egad. He was just sitting back, sipping his cup of green liquid as a ghost scared him from behind, and he spilled his green liquid into an experiment. Of course, the experiment, along with some of Luigi's DNA and whatever he was drinking, turned out to make Gooigi. But wait, that's not where the story ends. It even gets more intriguing and kind of disgusting from here on in. I don't know how it gets more disgusting. Now, Professor Egad, the sick puppet master that he is, sat Gooigi down in front of some film of Luigi capturing ghosts. And this is how our friend Gooigi learned to mimic the abilities of Luigi. Anyway, that is the origin story, but it doesn't explain how Gooigi could possibly make or break this game. Let's get into that. You see, Gooigi to me is kind of like adding an extra ability to this game. The fact that he can walk through spikes or go through tight spaces or bars or anything like that just allows him to access areas that Luigi couldn't. But he actually does more than that as well. There's certain circumstances where you can combine both Luigi and Gooigi's powers together, so maybe you could blow both air guns out at the same time or suck both in at the same time. And this is kind of where my concern comes in. You see, the other abilities that have been added to the game are all built around a single player experience. The fact is that you can burst air down around your feet, or you could shoot off your suction cup or something like that. All of that can be used with just one controller, one player at maximum efficiency. Gooigi, on the other hand, is at an advantage when being used as two players instead of one, and it almost feels like it could be built around those two players and not one. And that's not the only issue that I could see pulling this game down. There's also the fact that Gooigi, well, we haven't seen him used in that many clever ways yet. We've seen him walk through some spikes and walk through some more spikes, but that's just kind of throwing an obstacle, a wall in the player's way that's saying, well, you can break it using this weapon. Now, it is right at this point that I say, whoa there, Cowboy Eric, it's time to back off that horse a little bit, because you said that it could make or break the game. And the fact is that, yeah, it could make the game as well. You see, I've been getting on this case here. I've been getting on the case of Gooigi because I do believe that what we've seen so far doesn't reassure me that this is going to work out. It has me concerned, but at the same time, it has me hopeful that they could use Gooigi to his maximum efficiency. They can really make something brilliant out of him. You see, Gooigi's ability to be a completely separate entity to Luigi allows for some complex puzzles, more complex than you could get out of a lot of other abilities that you could add to this game. I love some of these new abilities they've added, like the burst shot that blows ghosts away. That's fantastic and allows you to do a short jump, but the amount of puzzle solving that you can get out of something like that is, well, only a certain amount. You're limited. Now, for Gooigi being controlled completely separate to you and being allowed to use those abilities while not being controlled by you is where things can get deep. Now, we have actually seen one small instance of this that I have to give a little bit of credit for, or technically two, but one with the boss fight, and I don't want to spoil it. The first one that we've seen here is in some of the trailer footage. We're in an underground area, and you can see that one of the Luigis here is using the elevator while the other one is blowing the mechanism, I guess, that kind of moves it downwards. Now, as I alluded to, this doesn't require the two players. Simply one Luigi can be left on idle blowing the air while the other one's on the elevator. There's even one more time that we see Gooigi by himself in a bathroom, and you can see that Gooigi could get here, but he couldn't reach the gem on the other side. Puzzles like this allow Gooigi to get a better look, but need Luigi to solve it. And this is what I mean by the puzzles and complexities could get deep and could be interesting, or they could simply leave them a shallow pool of goo that we step in and kind of step away going, it's on my shoe, this is gross. very hard to believe there's going to be a middle ground here. I believe they are going to swing one way or the other, and when reviews come out, we will definitely know. And when you compare this to other such items, such things like multiplayer can affect review scores. Like there's this new multiplayer mode, which is kind of in Dark Moon, I never played it, that could be cool, or it could be bad, or it could be in between. And either way, it's only going to sway that review score so far. Gooigi, on the other hand, is going to make or break this game's backbone that Gooigi doesn't actually have. That's about as much substance as I can suck out of Gooigi, but there are some other things here that I might just have a chat about, so if you want to stick around, you might find some of this interesting. Now, because of that new E3 trailer that we got a new look at a lot of the locations. We got an idea of what they're going to look like, and I've got to say, I like the way they're going with this. The fact that they have different floors, and each floor is themed around it. That's a hard thing to say in a row. Each one is themed and interesting, and I like the fact that they did this. They could have just simply gone, and in fact they were going to from the start, say that each one is just kind of a hotel room, and you're using the layout of the hotel room to kind of see where you are, but you're still just going throughout a hotel. And there's only so much complexity and diversity that you can get throughout those zones. And if there's 3 reasons that I play Luigi's Mansion game, it's that 1, I can't play horror games, so this is the best next thing that I can get. 2, I'm a big sucker for a good puzzle game, and Luigi's Mansion isn't that deep in the puzzles, but it gives me that tickling that I need. And 3 is for the exploration. I just enjoy exploring a mansion that they have set up for me. And now they seem to be taking that mansion and just kind of ran with it into everything they could. Castles, underground, gardens, film studios, you name it. It just seems to be going, yeah, we can just do whatever we want now. And I like that they can do that. I don't want to sit here and ride the visual bike for too long, because we all kind of looked at this trailer and said, wow, the visuals look a lot better. So I'm going to jump off the visual bike and actually jump on the Luigi bike here and say that Luigi, we all know that he looks a lot better, but not just his looks, his expressions. They've taken that and ran with it into another level as well. Or rode the Luigi bike into another level. He's always been the king of facial expressions when it comes to but even his body language has been ramped up to another level now. You notice that when ghosts come close to him now, he gets his stiff back and he's like running around like this. Like he's, I don't know, what's that guy in Seinfeld's name? That's what he reminds me of. We did have a little bit of a glance over the suction shot and the burst that happened here. There's also the ability where you can kind of just slam now, so you can grab a ghost and you can slam it on either side of the ground. I like all 3 of these abilities because they fix a hole that Luigi's Mansion had in it. They filled the hole in, and now I feel like we can kind of walk across this hole and be safe when we're sucking up ghosts. Safer anyway, because now we can defend ourselves by flicking the ghost into other ghosts, and if we get surrounded and in a bad situation, we can blow all the ghosts away. I'm just going to leave it there because I could just blab on for ages about this game, but I do have one more little thing here that I do want to add, and that is I hope they have one more little announcement for this, whether it be something just small they sprinkle on top. Maybe there's costumes that you can get in the game or something like that. Use your money to buy costumes. I think that would be cool, or just something extra just for us, you and me, to share together. And thank you for sharing this with me. If you enjoyed what happened here, I want you to make sure that they hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, because it'd be much appreciated. And for great Nintendo entertainment, remember, you can count on me. For today's end screen, I'm just going to mention the E3 content. There's so much to kind of talk about that I'm struggling. Like, I don't know what to talk about. It's honestly, it's a little bit overwhelming. Like, before E3, I was kind of like, oh, what do I talk about? Oh, I don't know. There's some stuff, but like, am I clasping at straws here, or am I really like getting some good knowledge out there? Now it's like I have this wealth of stuff that I can just choose from to cover, and I'm trying to make it interesting still. Instead of just being like, here's everything about this game, now here's everything about this game, I'm being like, I'll be selective, and I'm going to mostly talk about Gooigi here because I found that the most interesting part of this, and that's what I'm trying to capture. I don't know if it worked. Maybe it worked. Maybe you liked it. Maybe you didn't. I do mind. I don't know. I was about to say I don't really care, but I do care. I care a lot, and I care that I'm wasting your time now, so we're going to end it and say thank you for watching. Goodbye.